I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm not here to tell you how to feel. I'm not here to tell you what to do, how to live your life. But I urge you to please wake up. Wake up. Open your eyes and see. See beyond the illusions that surround us. Everywhere we turn, somebody's telling us how to think, what to believe, what to do, how to feel. Be afraid, obey, follow the rules, do what you're told, don't do this, don't believe that, believe this, forget your inner authority, trust me. No, none of that, we ain't having it. I'm not having it. I hope you're not having it either. As I talk to people more and more during this time of confusion, chaos, upheaval, I'm really comforted by the fact that many people are thinking for themselves. Many people who aren't alternative or hippies or raw vegans or otherwise, a little bit out there, just regular normal folks are questioning things. And that to me is so incredibly promising. So I hope since you found me, you found this video, you're also questioning things. And I'm certainly not going to tell you the whole spiel about what's really going on because I have no idea what's really going on. I went down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole pretty early on in this whole process because immediately with this global health crisis that I will not really name because there's been so much freaking censorship and videos being taken down and people being labeled conspiracy theorists. It's really ridiculous. I've always really prized myself on being able to see through things with like laser vision. And, this crisis was not an exception. Pretty early on, I was like, something doesn't feel right. This feels like a load of bull crap. So I started digging and went down the rabbit hole, seeing what was there, questioning everything, seeing what this side was saying, seeing what that side was saying. And, I got kind of like lost in that and caught in that and really distressed. All these uncomfortable feelings came up, a lot of anger, shock, horror, sadness, some more anger, feeling powerless, feeling a bit victimized, feeling like guilt, for the fact that I woke up to a lot of this like 4 or 5 years ago, but slowly but surely kind of got lulled back in a bit, which happens if you're not hyper vigilant about your state of awareness. For me, this manifested as like a creeping back in of like watching more TV and like shows and stuff to like try and fit in and like be a little bit more normal and plug back into the matrix just a little bit, but stay aware, kind of like being a spy or something. Like intentionally going back in, but like knowing full well that I am in the matrix. And it's really hard to do that and not get caught up in things and still remain clear vision. So I had like a bit of the like beating myself for how could I do this? How could I get blinded again? How could I fall into these traps? And the answer is because they are so complex and all encompassing. And if you're at all plugged into social media or news media, or you're just driving around talking to people, you're being shown advertisements, you're being shown information, you're being shown things all the time to change your perception of reality. And the only way I've really transcended that in the past was going to the total extreme of going to a Buddhist monastery where, we had very limited Wi-Fi access, and we were mostly spending all of our time either in silence, in meditation, chanting, spiritual practice, learning about the teachings of the Buddha, learning about the teachings of this particular lineage of Buddhism, which was Shambhala lineage. And I'm not saying I believed all of that or all of that resonated. A lot of those teachings were great. But one of the best things about being immersed in that culture, that cult, because it was kind of a cult, was the fact that I wasn't being influenced by all this like matrix garbage all the time. That, when you're out in the world operating normally, with a 9-to-5 job, with like average people, living in a townhome or a house or a condo or an apartment, like earning your money, working for your money, going to the job. Maybe you're putting on a little Netflix at night, a little Amazon Prime, you're watching, like trying to unwind a little bit. You're going to the store for your food, you're paying your electricity bills, you're paying for your gas, you're drinking the water, you're flushing your toilet. All these beautiful things about being on the grid. I mean, it's so easy to fall back asleep. And I consider myself a pretty woke, awakened, not enlightened, but like I have tasted glimpses of enlightenment in various meditation experiences, yoga experiences, astral projection, out-of-body experiences, and latest on my path, these Reiki experiences where I've experienced like samadhi, pure consciousness bliss for extended periods of time that were like awesome, just awesome, pure, beautiful. None of this like guru in between you and the experience of enlightenment. It was just straight plug-in connection, because we're all plugged in. And I think that's really what I want to get into in this video is, sure, dive into the conspiracy theories a bit. Understand that the very term conspiracy theory or conspiracy theorist was engineered to make you automatically associate that person with that label to be crazy or out there or like just talking out of their ass, when in reality, conspiracy theory is just any theory, any narrative, any storyline, any explanation of events that does not directly align and correspond and agree with whatever the mainstream news media is telling you, whatever the government is telling you, whatever is trying to be spread as the collective reality. And so anything that diverges from that narrative is called a conspiracy theory, when in reality, each and every person has a unique perspective. And I think that's something to be celebrated and understood, that we are all entitled to our own perception. We are all entitled to our own experience of reality and to our own unique world views, our own unique spiritual views, our own unique understanding of how reality works, how being a human is, and how operating in human society on planet Earth at this moment is. We are all entitled to that. And what has been coming up for me is that with this mainstream storyline, this mainstream narrative being like forced down everyone's throat, and you need to do this, and you need to stay home, and you need to do nothing except what we say and believe what we say. That is, I mean, like, my God, trying to control perception and get everyone to agree upon one story, one way of seeing and experiencing reality, when that by virtue is just not the way things are, because we are all individuals having individual human experiences. And to allow our collective consciousness to allow and abuse the way that we are all interconnected is just terrible. So yeah, I'm not here to depress you. I'm here to ask you, urge you, you know, if you're on the brink of like waking up, if you're on the precipice of maybe thinking, you know, something's not right, like follow that intuition, go explore a little bit. You know, sure, get lost down the rabbit hole for a second. I am not currently in the rabbit hole. I like to look at these different theories and explanations of what's going on and what may potentially happen in the future in little bits, because I know I get sucked in easily, and you know, all these uncomfortable feelings can come up, and it can be a distraction even from why I'm really here. So I encourage you to explore a bit. Don't get too sucked in, you know, or get sucked in, and remember, you need to come out after a while. And, you know, after coming out of the rabbit hole, you know, I did this beautiful Reiki training that was my Reiki master training, and what it was showing me and guiding me to do is really connect with my inner authority, to really connect and ground into my inner guidance, my inner experience, my inner discernment, my own truth, access my own wisdom. And I think that is what we are being asked to do as a collective in order to manifest a beautiful new earth, the most optimal timeline for human beings, rather than these other artificial timelines that are trying to be orchestrated to accomplish darker agendas that aren't necessarily in the best interest of human beings, me and you, maintaining our freedom and sovereignty as conscious human beings. So in order to ensure that we move forward in the best way possible, protecting our freedom, protecting the true nature of human beings, which I do not believe is this greedy, every man for himself, cutthroat, you know, fuck you kind of mentality. I believe, in what I've experienced, is that human beings are beautiful beings of love, of truth, of kindness, gentleness, incredible strength, incredible resilience, healing ability, compassion, empathy, deep connection to spirit, to God, to the universe, to the cosmos, to each other, to the animal kingdoms, to the plant kingdoms. We are protectors of this earth. We are on this earth for a reason. We are here to work together with Mother Earth to uplift all beings on this earth, to awaken all beings on this earth. And you know, if you have a slightly different vision of the world than I do, or even a radically different vision, but it's held in your heart as true and it is infused with love and goodness, then heck yeah, man, like, believe that. That's cool. Live in alignment with that. You know, it is time for us to go within and believe our own inner authority and forget about whatever is trying to be forced into our minds and forced into the way we live our lives, because you and me are free beings. We are human beings, we are conscious beings, and we are infinite beings. So the power is within. Namaste.